Welcome to Jag RC, just a girl. Like, comment, and subscribe. Today I'm installing some upgrades to my Vanquish H10 Optic kit. I'm adding Desert Lizard 90mm shocks in an awesome green color that is going to look sweet on my Throttle Therapy livery, and I'm also installing Incision Driveshafts. I knew that I wanted to add Desert Lizard shocks, but I wasn't sure the color until I saw these. These will look awesome. Here's a look at everything that comes with the shocks. This allows you to set up the shocks with a sprung or droop configuration. I'm setting mine up as a semi-droop. This tool really helps me hold on to the shock while I take the eyelet off. I removed the dampers and changed the springs, putting the small soft springs in the lower portion and the long soft springs on the upper portion. I used Protect grease to protect the O-rings. Then I reassembled the shock using 40 weight shock oil. I filled the shock oil to just below the threads, and then I thread down slowly and carefully, watching for bubbles. Then I pumped the shock to release the rest of the air. Once I was confident that there was no air remaining in the shock, I screwed it down the rest of the way tightly, and careful not to blow out an O-ring. Here is a completed shock. I repeated those steps 3 more times, and now it's time to assemble them on my Vanquish H10 Optic. I start by removing my wheels. Then I remove the stock shocks. I'm going to reuse the bottom ball ends from the stock shocks in the new Desert Lizard shocks, as I like the way that the stock ball ends fit into the chassis. I use this shock tool to press the ball ends into the new shocks. The shocks are installed, and they do look as awesome as I was hoping they did. I really love these. The color green looks awesome with this livery. I couldn't imagine another color looking better. I hope they work as well as they look. So here's the stock shocks. And I'm going to save these because I have another build coming up. I'm going to put these on my base camp kit. If you want to see the future video where I build that, subscribe so you get the notification. Up next, I am installing the Incision Driveshafts. Here's a look at the stock drive shafts. Unfortunately, I noticed that for the front drive shaft, you can't access the pin. From the bottom anyway. You can, however, access it if you remove the driver's door. You can see it in there. I remove the front drive shaft. Easy peasy. And then I move on to the rear drive shaft. After removing the front pin of the rear drive shaft, I realized that it's too tight and I can't get it out. So I removed the rear tire and I removed the screw from the rear link. This gives it enough slack where I can slide it out. And I dropped some pieces inside. Shaky, shaky. The stock rear drive shaft is removed. Time to add the awesome Vanquish Incision Driveshafts. I'm going to use just a little bit of Loctite on the pins of the shaft. I put just a small drop of Loctite on my tool tray so that I can dip the pin thread into it. Here's what the new Incision drive shaft looks like. These are really nice. I get the pin set in and I screw it in. And I repeat this step for the rear pin on the rear drive shaft. It took a hot minute to get this pin lined up. Then I screw the link back on and I put the rear tire back on. And here's a look at the new Vanquish Incision Driveshafts. These are hardened steel construction and they have scale joints and splines for a more realistic look. I personally think that they look great and it's one less piece of plastic on my optic. So this round of upgrades is complete. Here's a look with the Yeah Racing Desert Lizard shocks installed and the Vanquish Incision Driveshafts installed. I can't wait to get outside with this. Please stop snowing. And what upgrade is next, you may be thinking? Well, I have a little sneak peek. I'm waiting on a delivery of Vanquish Impacts in pink.